My name is Sandy Miller. I work for Seattle Housing Authority. I'm our Senior Program Manager in the Development Department. I've been with Seattle Housing Authority for 3 years. So Yesler was already a big project before I joined, but I've been very proud to be part of this project. We like to spend time with the people who live in the development. We're starting a project right now at Jackson Park Village up in the north. We've been spending a lot of time trying to get to know the people who live there and what their daily lives are like, so that when we rebuild a building or a site like Yesler, we can do the best we can to try and meet the needs of the people who are going to live there. The biggest issue in the old Yesler was that the housing was very old and it was hard to maintain. It made it difficult to keep a safe place for people to live. Also, as you know, Seattle is a growing city and there's a need for more housing. The old housing took a lot of property. It's 43 acres, but only served 540 families. In the new development, there will be just under 1,000 affordable housing units and another 3,000 what we call workforce housing or market rate housing. So where we had 500 people, we'll be able to serve many more people. We have provided enough housing for everyone who wanted to return to Yesler, who moved away. We've provided enough housing for them to come back. I'm sure, as you know, living here, there's a lot of difficulty in the neighborhood right now with safety. And I think that happens when there's a lot of construction or a lot of vacant land around. So I think that's one of the most difficult parts right now, but I'm very excited about the work that's happening and the buildings that are being built. Well, you probably can answer that better than I, but from my perspective, you know, there's a lot of impacts on changing the way the community lives here. But it was easy to go to your neighbor's house in old Yesler. But now you might live in Red Cedar and somebody else might live in Walmart Garden, and there's a lot of traffic between here and there and a lot of other buildings. So I think it's made it a little bit less of a small community that it used to be, and I think that's hard. I would love to hear what you think of the impacts on kids. I think it has been difficult for the relationships of those people who decided to move away and the people who decided to stay. And I think that can be hard to have, to lose parts of your community. We had a goal of, you know, making sure everyone was welcome back, but not everyone wants to come back to an apartment versus a townhouse that has a yard. I do think that a lot of the people who moved to Rainier Vista or to New Holly have more of a home situation like they had at Yesler. And I think those people are happy there, but I think there's still a loss in that community and the splitting of that community, in my opinion. I think a lot of them have, and a lot of people have been happy to move back. I think it's, you know, things like parking are difficult. I think they were difficult before, but now there's just a lot more people, so maybe some feels a little more difficult. But there are some people who prefer to live in a quieter, what we call garden community, like High Point or Rainier Vista, and I think those families have found a good place there as well. I think there's a lot of things that make Yesler unique. It was an opportunity, kind of, the city grew out around Yesler, and a good opportunity was to be able to have the space to build more housing. So instead of moving people further out of town, we had the opportunity here to build more housing so that people could live where they go to school and where they work. And that's a unique opportunity in a big city to have that much space to be able to focus on providing affordable housing so that affordable housing is not pushed out to the outskirts of the town. Well, I always have a very high perspective because I'm excited about, and I hope that my dreams come true for Yesler. I think it's going to be a very vibrant community. I'm hoping that the people who live here, especially the youth that live here, use the opportunity to get to know everyone who lives in this community and really build a well-integrated community that is safe and where people watch for each other. Yes. So Saguaro is the building that's under construction now, just a couple blocks from here. It is going to have 114 units in it. It will serve, it will have sizes everywhere from 1-bedroom units to 3-bedroom units. We expect quite a few families to move there. We have a lot of 3-bedroom units. It will have a play area in the courtyard, similar to here at Red Cedar. It will also have some community space, and right now we're trying to decide what will go into that community space, whether we would move tutoring or find a place for other groups who need space. So Saguaro is going to be exciting. It's right on Yesler, so it has a lot of nice visibility. Juniper is our last project that we're building. Seattle Housing Authority is building. We still will continue to have other buildings around by other developers. We're going to start construction on that in September. It will also have 114 units. It will also have some 4-bedroom units, so 1, 2, 3, and 4s. We're really excited to get that one started. It will take about 2 years. We expect Saguaro to be done in this coming spring, so maybe 6 to 8 months from now, and Juniper will finish probably summer of 2025. In my opinion, I think some of the shortcomings are around parking, being able to provide enough parking for everyone. That was a requirement actually of the city to not allow us to build 1 parking space for every unit, because the city is hoping that everyone will take advantage of the transit system. But right now, the transit system isn't quite meeting the needs, and people need cars, and we're not allowed to build parking. So that's, to me, one of the big shortcomings. Some of the things I'm excited about in the buildings is we take the opportunity to look at sustainable systems, whether it's it's a system called energy recovery units, which make the outside air more similar to the temperature you'd be looking for inside. It's not necessarily an air conditioner, but it filters the air as it comes in and saves energy. We also are starting to put a lot of photovoltaic arrays or solar panels on our roofs to create energy, as well as some high-tech hot water heating systems also to save energy. So that's one of our goals at SHA, is to make sure that we build a building that is affordable for someone else who's paying the utilities. I would love to see in Yesler Terrace would be a youth center where kids could come together and share ideas and share values, and really create community. So I'm hoping that as we move into this last phase of Yesler, we really find an opportunity to build some type of youth center. I think there are lots of great places to play here. It's a little hard because the streets are kind of busy, and there's a lot, but that, I have to say, Yesler Park is one of the best parks in the city. They ask that we hear a lot about displacement, and one of the things SHA really tries to focus on is minimizing how much you displace people when you have to do a renovation. I mentioned Jackson Park Village, and we know that in order to build, we're going to have to move people. We're offering to let them come back, but a lot of times when somebody moves, it's hard to move back as well. We are trying on other properties such as Holly Court to build in a location while people can still live there, and then they can move right into the building as we renovate where they live, so then no one is displaced. So that's one of the things we really try and focus on. Sometimes it's unavoidable, and we try and do the best we can to make sure people have the resources they need to find a new place. As I mentioned, my hope is that you all, through the work you do, have the opportunity to really make Yesler the kind of place that I dream it will be. All I can do is build buildings, but you all build community. So I encourage you to think about your place in Yesler and how you help build Yesler as a community.